Hello, you are listening to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. Your host, Erica Saccoccio, invites you to join her community of passionate and inspiring leaders in the ECE field, where she discusses, reflects, and shares the best ways to invest in our children, families, teachers, and community. Because after all, we know they are the heartbeat of any successful program.
The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Now, I'm sure you've heard that quote before. It's from the great Steve Jobs. So let me ask you this. Are you a childcare force? Yep, I said childcare force. Are you running a high-quality program? Are you making a difference in your community? Are you advocating for children and families with passion and purpose? Especially as small business owners in the childcare sector, we are facing rapid decline. We are facing a evolutionary landscape that is changing daily. It's critical that we raise our voices and that we advocate for the support that we deserve. Now, I don't know the statistics, and I'm going to look them up, of how many of these childcare centers are owned by women. Not only women, but women who may come from diverse backgrounds. I'm one of them. So if you're not quite there yet, don't worry. Today, we're going to dive into key areas where you can step up your game and truly become a force in the childcare industry. And I don't just mean, are you successful? I don't just mean, do you have a nice car or do you have a lot of money in your bank account? I am talking about a child care force where you are making an impact on your country. Are you a thought leader? Are you really getting ready to move to that next level? So let's get ready and reflect on our practice. Embrace some new strategies and make a long-lasting impact. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to be the last blockbuster, if you know what I mean. I might say some things today that might make some people upset. And I really, truly don't mean to, because I am a community builder. I am somebody who will invite anyone on my podcast to share their thoughts, ideas, opinions, strategies. I will. This channel is for all of us. It's a place that we can raise our voice, our concerns, our challenges, our weaknesses, our strengths, our triumphs, cry, all the things. Okay? But I'm really concerned about where we are as an industry. And I can't be the only one. And so Childcare Force came out of a conversation that I had with my son-in-law. So a few weeks ago, we were at the Born to Teach conference, and we had a blast. We had a blast. And, he's feeling new and he's young and, he's a young gentleman. And we were talking, and somebody had said something like, you're not really much of a boss, Miss Erica. You're really just not. Yes, you're the boss of the company, but we don't really look at you like that. You're so inspirational. You're more like a force. And that was the day. That was the day that Childcare Force was born. And, we really talked about what did that mean? And why did he see me in that way? What was it about me that made me different, special, unique? And so as we talked about it, because unfortunately, or I guess in this case, fortunately, there happened to be a hurricane coming into Texas just as we were leaving. So we were able to safely get out of Texas, and we ended up in North Carolina. And we were there for 14 hours at the airport. Pretty much me, my son-in-law, and a few other folks up waiting in the terminal. Everyone else was downstairs in all the little the courtyard there. So we decided to go up, and we talked a lot. And he really was able to share with me, or maybe we share with each other, what we really thought that meant, being a childcare force. So we're going to explain a little bit about that today and talk a little bit about it. And I want you to ask yourself, because on this channel, we do a couple things. We learn, we reflect, We discuss, and today I want to reflect and discuss. Maybe we're not going to learn so much. Maybe to you, this might just sound like banter, but I always speak from my heart, and I really want to talk about this because I'm afraid. I'm afraid for all of us, and we have to do something, so I want to talk about it. So the first thing is I want you to ask yourself, are you running a high quality program? Have you defined and communicated what high quality looks like for your center? Some things could be the way that you take on safety protocols or the educational outcomes that you have at your program. Or maybe you're really proud of the staff qualifications. Maybe you have a licensed teacher in every one of your classrooms. And that isn't that far-fetched because many programs are doing that now as they're shifting towards bringing in some of the state money into their centers through the universal pre-K. How have you created a detailed quality assurance document that you share with your team? Because if you're setting the standards and you're keeping those standards, there's got to be accountability. Do you have a system for elevating your curriculum and your staff performance? Do you consider using surveys or assessment tools to gather feedback? And do you usually take that feedback and use it to really, truly improve your program? Or do you think as the leader, you know everything? Do you schedule regular reviews to adjust your practice based on the feedback from those observations? Are you actively seeking families and staff for their input? Are you gathering their suggestions and acting on them and improving services? Do you use feedback forms to hold regular feedback sessions? Are you reflecting on your quality assurance practices? How recently have you updated your standards or made improvements based on your feedback? And when we were talking, this was something that he really said, you talk a lot about standards. Not only the standards that the state sets, not only the standards that the early learning standards have set for us, but our own program standards. What was acceptable? What isn't acceptable? And I talk to the staff regularly about being the standard, setting the standard. Your leader should not have to talk to you over and over again about what the standard is in the program, what the culture is in the program. You have to set those standards for your team, and your team has to set those standards for themselves. And you've got to get the right people behind you. And so when you're a childcare force, you are making these determinations. You are making sure that if you're not meeting the standard, then you got to go. Now, of course, we want to love and nurture them and help our staff when they are having challenges. But at the end of the day, they have to take the input and the instruction and the training that they go to, and they have to implement it. So you have to decide, where are you going to be? Where do you want people to see yourself? And what feels good for you? And so you've got to build that team. You've got to build that stellar team. What are you doing to recruit and retain the top talent? Are you attracting and keeping top-notch staff? Are you developing clear job expectations? Are you offering competitive benefits? Are you creating a welcoming onboarding process? How are you enhancing your recruitment strategy to provide ongoing support and development for your team? Are you investing in your team's growth? Are you bringing them to conferences? Are you organizing regular training sessions and workshops? Are you partnering with training providers or creating internal development programs? Do you promote teamwork and recognize achievements? Are you implementing team-building activities and reward programs? Are you celebrating team milestones and providing regular recognition for hard work? And sometimes we need to, like Michael Jackson says, take a look in the mirror. Evaluate your team's engagement and development. What recent initiatives have you taken to boost morale and performance? Because again, if you are the top of your game, you are a childcare force. No one needs to tell you this. You're already doing it. And stay on it. Stay current. Like if your program hasn't been updated in a while, it's time to update your program. It's time to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to keep the amazing team that you have. How are you making a difference in your community? That's all great. You got a brand new car. I'm happy for you. Nothing wrong with having a new car. I got a new car. It's not really new, but I got a new car. I bought a new car and I wanted to switch things up. How are you engaging in local events? Are you visible in your community? Do you participate or sponsor in local events to increase your center's visibility? Are you creating a community involvement calendar? Are you reaching out to event organizers and say, hey, me and my team want to be part of this. How can we help? Are you collaborating with local businesses and organizations? Forging partnerships to support mutual goals and strengthen your network? Are you identifying potential partners and people who can collaborate with you on projects that are purpose-driven? Are you actively participating in community discussions and initiatives? Are you attending those local meetings and engage with community leaders? Are you joining local boards or committees related to early childhood education or family services? Ask yourself, do a poll right now. Do a poll at your center and see how many of your team are a member of a childcare organization in your state or a national. If the answer is not a lot, then you as a leader are not doing a good job in helping them see that they are professionals and what the benefit is to join these groups. Reflect on your community involvement. How have your efforts communicated? How do you contribute your center's reputation to local relationships? Have you contributed? And you may not have a lot of money, and that's okay. I grew up poor, and I'm very proud of that. It's okay. Maybe I can't contribute my money, but I surely can commit some of my time. Anything I can do to make my community better, anything I can do to help support another small business on my block, I will. Advocating for children and families. How are you participating in advocacy efforts? Are you involved with advocacy for early childhood education? Are you joined in organizations and supporting campaigns that align with your center's mission? And if so, how? Do you attend the events? Because I can tell you, I see a lot of people that are members of organizations, but then when you go to the events, they're not there. I'm not talking about did you buy the t-shirt. I'm talking about did you actively contribute to the discussions on policy changes? Because everybody is grumbling right now about all the changes on the industry. But were you there? Did you write a letter? Did you support your state's agency that advocates for you? Or did you let someone else make all the decisions for your small business and now you're mad? Engage with policy decisions. Are you informed about what's going on? Are you contributing to policy changes affecting children and families? Are you staying up to date on relevant issues and participate in public forums? That's why we started to do the Friday in the news. Yeah, some of the news is bad and some of the news is good. But I did that as a way to point out you need to pay attention to what is going on in our industry, not after the fact. You need to follow legislative updates and engage with your policymakers. And that's okay if you don't know who they are. Get out and learn now. It's never too late. Are you leveraging your voice to advocate for children, for families, for your child care center? Whether you're a for-profit, nonprofit, whether you're a big center or a small center, whether you're a family home provider or you have 18 centers, we have to work together. Share your insights, share your experiences, share it through social media. God knows you're on there a lot. Community events. Develop a clear advocacy message and practice delivering it effectively. Assess your advocacy efforts. What recent actions have you taken to influence policy or raise awareness about early childhood issues? Are you collaborating with other childcare owners? I love talking to all of you. I love having guests on my show. I love learning about what's going on in California and Florida and Texas and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and every other place in between. I've made friends in Canada. Collaborate with your peers. Are you building relationships with other childcare professionals? Are you joining networks? Are you attending industry events to connect with peers? Participating in collaborative workshops and sharing best practices. If you found something that really works for you, then share it. Are you exchanging ideas and strategies with other centers? Are you creating or joining forums for discussion or sharing resources? Are you organizing and attempting meetups with other childcare providers? Are you working on joint initiatives with other centers? Are you looking for opportunities to collaborate on projects or programs? Are you identifying areas for potential collaboration or purpose joint efforts? Reflect on your collaborative efforts. Maybe you are doing these things. Reflect. Be proud of those things. Think about how you have contributed and how people have benefited from the work that you are doing within the childcare community. I hope that you feel inspired and ready to take action, because that's what it means to be a childcare force. It ain't about buying the t-shirt. It ain't about being cute. It ain't about all those things. We are here to make a real difference. And I don't know about you, but I'm a small business owner. I'm very passionate about what I do. And I know many of you are as well, because I talk to you so frequently. So let's, not keep letting everybody decide what's going on in our small business. And I don't mean that to be confrontational. I mean, make sure you're making the right decisions for you. Make sure you're being reflective on your practice, going back to why you started this in the first place. And I know it was about the children. And I'm not saying it's not okay to be successful. I want you to be successful. And I'm here to help those who are not maybe so successful. Or maybe they are successful, but there's some areas they're still struggling with. But at the end of the day, if we all don't get together and get on the same page, it's divide and conquer, guys. So if you run a small business and it is a childcare program and you're not involved, the time is ticking. So get involved. Advocate, figure out what you're doing, support other childcare centers, whether it's your competition or not. If you have a wait list a mile long, then help out another center. We all need to survive in this industry. And we can do it together. I really do believe we can. We can collaborate with these universal pre-K programs. We can go all in on after-school programs or all in on infant toddler programs. You have to do what's best for you. But I want you to be actively involved. I want to see you become a childcare force. And if you are, let me know. I want to know. Share with us. What are you doing? How are you making a difference outside of your four walls? So again, I hope I didn't offend anybody. I hope that I got some people excited and a little riled up to finally take some action. How are we going to support each other? So if you're feeling inspired and ready to take action, if this episode helped you reflect on your role and you want to help support our show, then go ahead. You can hit the support the show link if you'd like. You don't have to, of course. I'm going to still be here every day cheering you on, sharing the best of what I know, and what I don't know, I'll have other folks come on and share with you. Cost you $0 to tune into our show. Share it with a friend. And if you take one step today, one thing from this episode, maybe it's you get involved. Get involved with what is going on in our industry. Stop letting everyone else tell us when we're done. Stop letting everyone else tell us if we're going to do business with or not do. That's your decision, like any other small business. You decide what makes sense for you, but you got to be involved one way or the other. So that's it for today's episode. Again, with always much love, much respect. Remember, it's the little details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.